I'm also going to want to get you again live from Mombasa, Kenya, where I am just setting up and trying to be on time and at the same time be prepared. So, about is Russia and China moving the United States out of Africa? For some of you that may have been living under a rock, or you've been a victim of Western mass media propaganda and then Western news sources, you may not know that Russia and Africa just had a major summit, one of the first summits between the two, between the country and the continent, which was highly successful. And African leaders were saying that it was better than what they expected. Oh, so, ooh, that's tight. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Okay, so over 2,000 Russian and African businesses merged in Russia for the summit, where they interacted and, of course, discussed business ideas and marketing, as well as mutual business ventures. And like I said, the African head of state, Mayor Posey from South Africa, was saying that, you know, it was he didn't expect it to be as lucrative as he thought. Now, unlike China, Russia has had very little contact with the African continent. Many people know that China and Africa did an agreement in the year 2000, but not many people know that China was already doing investment deals in African countries since the 1960s. So Russia is coming in with like almost fresh. They had some investments they were doing in South Africa, but very minimal compared to China and the United States. So, okay, Mustafa, how are you? And Helios Ajeba, if I do it in Swahili. Greetings to you. And so now Russia has come in a big way to now let the world know that they are definitely going to be a major player and investing in Africa. Now you wonder what was taking them so long, you know, but of course, you know, they had to be watching what the Chinese were doing and the investment, and as well as investigating into African countries. So since the GDP of a lot of Western countries has been down for almost a decade or longer, and compared to the African continent, where GDPs have been at 5% on average, 5%. The United States has never even come close to 5% in over a decade, or is it 2 decades? I don't know. They've been down a long time. And with recent discoveries about the U.S. economy, the car market down, the trade war is up, and a lot of news is coming out talking about how the currency is being put under attack. Now, a lot of black people won't really know what's going on in the international community, but one of the things that President Putin, the Russian president, said in his opening address was that they were not going to be anything like what the West had was when they came in and invested in the African continent in a major way in the late 80s. I mean, in the mid 80s. The IMF and the World Bank did horrible things, if you don't know. Horrible things to Africa. Their trade policies crippled the whole continent. Anybody that took a loan from the IMF or the World Bank ended up regretting it, because they put stipulations on the loans, that African countries, of course, couldn't meet. And when you have small countries that like Ghana, because Ghana is a small country. I give an example of Ghana. Ghana government was subsidizing their rice farmers in the northern part of Ghana so that they could produce more rice to feed the nation. Well, it was the IMF or the World Bank? IMF came in and gave out a loan, and with the stipulation that they would stop, that the Ghanaian government would stop subsidizing their farmers, which they did. And this forced Ghana to now depend solely, their rice production would depend solely from the West. Meanwhile, the people in the North went into extreme hunger and the poverty. And so they started having children migrate over from the northern Ghana to the more lucrative areas of Accra in search of work, because northern Ghana was just hit by so much poverty. And this was because the government stopped subsidizing the rice farmers, and then the government started taking being forced to buy rice from the West. So what ended up happening is, they couldn't pay for the loans because of the country being put into such a bad state by having less food being produced in their country. So people actually in Ghana were actually starving, and in certain parts of Ghana that they don't tell you about. And then the government demanded that they pay the loan interest, the Western governments. So it was a big mess. And, it still is affecting Ghana as a nation to this very day. Now, the Chinese came in when the continent was at a hopeless point. Okay, there's a difference between the IMF and the World Bank. The IMF is structuring business loans, development loans, while the World Bank was giving out money to help alleviate poverty. And what the World Bank did was create more poverty, bringing nations into poverty by getting them in debt-ridden situations where they couldn't get out of the debt to pay for the normal things that they had to do to run the country, like build schools and build infrastructure. So this problem persisted until African heads of state started to realize what the game was, and that they were in a no-winning situation. And heads of states, one after another, got up on the podium and started talking bad about the IMF and the World Bank and stopped doing business with them. Now, of course, at that moment, China came in when Africa was the hopeless continent. In fact, the same year that the Economist magazine put out that report, put that on the cover of their magazine, the same year the Chinese stepped in and said, let's partner up. We're not going to come and treat you like the West did. We're going to treat you like an equal partner, and then and help develop your nation. We're not going to give you loans on things that are necessary, but only for infrastructure loans. That was the Chinese policies. African leaders went into agreement wearily, and the results were phenomenal. In fact, 18 years later, the same African governments, all of them, went back and renewed the agreement that they made with China 18 years prior in 2000. So this shows you that what the Chinese were doing was working. Now, house Negroes, and I'm going to say house Negroes, believe that the West is the best and that they're banking all their energy on the West, have already started attacking the Russian summit with the Africans, saying that Russia is just another one of those countries that's going to exploit Africa. No, they're not. Case in point, what the West did, everybody that followed the West is showing that they're not going to be like the West. China has said this, and they have lived up to it. 18 years later, the fruits of development in Africa are there to be seen, with GDPs on an average of 5% throughout the continent. Something that, and Chinese being the number one trader with Africa, 75%, shows that what the Chinese has done is working. And African countries are growing and showing the results. But you have house Negroes in the United States, as well as Americans, who are already saying that the Russian African summit is going to be more exploitation for Africa. Where is the exploitation? If 52, I mean, African nations come back again after 18 years and renew their commitment to work with China after 18 years. Where is the resentment? Where is the exploitation coming from? And how can they think that the Chinese would be so stupid as to repeat what the West did? In fact, they sat back and they couldn't believe it, that the West would do such a thing. And they set out to show that what can be done if you do things the correct way, if you treat people as human beings and partners, as opposed to using them and exploiting their countries for your own country's wealth and gain. Then this is what the Chinese set out to show, and they were successful at doing that. I mean, to put the thing in perspective, the agreement for loans that the United States had was that you had to do business with the United States and give free access to the mineral rights to any American corporation as part of the deal of them giving out money, loaning out money to the African nations. And you see, Africa is a powerhouse. It really needs to develop, and it has all the tools it needs. It has all the manpower, all the minerals, all of the things that it needs to move forward. It just needs infrastructure to move the goods and back and forth, and it needs a solid government to protect the rights of the businesses as well as the people that are working. And Africa has all of that, thanks to the Chinese help. And this is just what has caused the United States to be put in a situation where they are reaping what they sowed. All these bad and predatory loans that they created in the 80s, that they say, and all the bad dealings that they did with African countries over the years. Now, when the new players come in, Africa is having to choose, and they're choosing other people other than what the United States and Britain and France. France Yellow Jacket movement is going on almost for a full year now. Every weekend they're rioting in France, in Paris. They took it off the news, but it's still going on every week. They're out there in force because the French people want their lollipops. They want their goodies. They want to have that same lovely life that they had decades before, that they seen their parents have. But Africa is growing, and those days are over. And the French know that if they remove themselves from Africa, they would quickly fall into a third world country. They depend totally on Africa and have intervened in Africa many times to try to keep that control over the wealth of the African countries that France has under their fake ass, not fake, but their terrible agreement by keeping 85% of the wealth of an African nation in their banks and then using it the way they want to. African countries are now not going for that. And this time for this type of exploitation is up. So the African ambassador to the United States spoke on this, and I'm still waiting for them to show me that she was fired from her job. I'm surprised that I've not heard any video from her live or otherwise. Don't believe the hype about that she was let go because she spoke against French colonization in Africa today. The video and her being removed were two different things, and there's no connection that anyone can say that has been put there. So that's a big lie. Let me check out here. Gwandia 9, Hotep, my brother. Oh, you should read the book Confessions of the Economic Hitman. I've seen him on video several times. Yes, America's involvement in African affairs is legendary, but they're also legendary all around the world, where America has used really despicable tactics in order to rig elections and change government, assassinate leaders, and all these things. And now is the time where new players are coming in and saying, this is what they did to you, and this is what we won't do for you. So by having multiple players come into Africa, where Africa now has a choice of who he can do business with, because of all the despicable things that the West has done over time, it's now going to hurt them as far as doing business in Africa. And you really can't survive as a major superpower without having to deal with the African continent. Because like they say, in about 20, 30 years, like 1/5 of the world's population will be living in Africa. And this is the place to be. Make Private Bane, how are you, brother? What color shirt you got on today? Did you hear the latest? I mean, did you hear the news when China dumped tons of mercury tainted sugar in your country? Dr. Moonbay reported on this. Okay, Dr. Moonbay that's terrible, fake news, And I would suggest that if you're serious about being in learning the truth about Africa, stop listening to people like that. Okay, because and I have said it many times. She came in and she was saying the Chinese are going to get rid of Africa. All the things that a house Negro in America would love to hear. There she is giving out that information. Making these kind of sensational stories and then not backing them up with solid evidence. So it makes you feel good at like, oh, glad I'm in the United States because they're giving them Africans hell over there. If you listen to Dr. Moonbay show or shows like hers, this is sad. You see? So part of the reason why I'm here is to set the record straight that these things are not true. Most of them are just propaganda. And when you look at her shows and go back and revisit them later, it's just what the news of the day. So it's just exploitation because her audience is mainly U.S. based. So hell no, Dr. Moonbay, no. And most black ladies in America too. These are house Negroes. Now Dr. Moonbay is like a house African Negro. You know what I'm saying? If she got a report that said that so and so was fired, and she'd report on it and talk about it. Never realize that the fact is that who said she was fired because of this. There was vague information in the newspaper that was a propaganda newspaper. Fake news is all over the place. So you report on it because you see like maybe people will now give me views. I know what I'm saying is not very popular amongst a lot of people, and when I say Negro, I know I'm losing a lot of people. But I'm trying to make you understand that in order to understand something, you got to have a definition. You got to need a word to describe it. And I'm saying that black people that are in the United States that are hoping and wishing for Africa to have some failure of some kind, they need to be labeled. And there's no better label than what Malcolm X said about them. They're house Negroes. They are pro-America, and they're going to be happy to find any reason why they should not leave loving America for the continent of Africa. They don't see themselves as African, and they don't want to believe that Africa is rising. So the Dr. Moonbay show is going to become more popular as the time moves on because they need to have her clarify all the negative things about the African Free Trade Agreement, all the negative things about the Russian and African summit, all the negative things about the Chinese involvement in Africa. So she's right there to give it to you. But I'm telling you the reality of the situation over time. You can see, obviously, if Africa was as bad as they put out, what the hell would the Russians be coming to Africa to say, okay, let us now invest in the country? Not to mention the fact that the president of France came to Kenya to do business. He didn't tell them to come to him. He came here because they desperate. He's done fooled over West Africa. The French have ruled over West Africa, and now they was gonna come over to East Africa and say, well, they don't think they're known, and say, well, let's do straight business. No, it's too late. Chinese is here and Russians is here. Let me give them a chance before I even think about you. And this is this is the reality of what's really going on. And I'm here to tell you that that's what's the case. The fact that the Russians have now come into Africa gives Africa such a grand opportunity to diversify their business up and grow their businesses. Definitely with Russia coming into Africa, GDPs of nations are definitely going to expand in the next few years, simply because they have a market that the Russians are opening up to them. The Russians can't grow a lot of the products that Africa has, like Kenya tea. Kenya tea is ripe in Kenya, grows well, but it cannot grow. The Russians cannot grow fruits and vegetables because of the weather conditions in the continent. So here they said opening up a trade door that allows them to bring, these type of foodstuffs into Russia. I know the deal. The Russians ain't gonna come here because they say like, okay, let's go show the U.S. what's up. No, they needed Africa, and they were not in Africa because of the situation that was going on with the U.S. and U.S. had a hold on them. But this sanctioned business in Russia is over, and they don't fear the petrodollar like they used to. In fact, the largest oil company in Russia yesterday just removed themselves from the dollar. So they no longer sell their oil using the US dollar. They're now switching over to the euro. And they can do that without repercussions from the US because the US doesn't have has been faking like they were stronger than they were. China is already devaluing itself out of America. They no longer buy US government bonds where they were the number one buyer of the US bonds. They're no longer buying U.S. bonds because this ship is sinking, and everybody sees that, and they're trying to get a foothold into Africa. That's the first thing they want to do because you can't run your business, you can't run your country nicely without Africa. Go look at Britain. Go look at France. Yeah. Look at Germany now. Germany, you're going to see Germany going to start coming into Africa too. They weren't really affected by because they were kicked out of Africa after World War II. And so they really didn't have a lot of business interest in Africa like that. But because the other major players in Europe were invested in Africa and now being pushed out, Russia is feeling it. Germany is feeling it. The car market is going down, and they need to be selling cars like the Japanese was doing in Africa. So you'll be seeing them coming. What makes me suspect about Mumbi is she can get a visa so easily to come to Trump's America. Well, it's not really difficult for you to get a visa to go to the United States. It's just that so many people that don't really qualify try, because a lot of these companies they market and to the lower income Africans that are watching a lot of movies on TV, but they don't have a lot of education and a lot of opportunities. So why not try? So they go out there and they try, and most of them end up failing. But if you got a grade point average of like a B plus to an A, you're gonna get a visa. The brain drain situation is still going on in Africa, and that should be addressed. Although a lot of Africans that went to the United States are now moving back to taking their expertise and bringing it back to Africa, and you're going to see a lot of that a lot more of that happening. But when you go to the U.S. government and ask them what's the statistics of Africans coming back, what do they tell you? We don't keep such records. Oh, but you keep all kind of other records, but you don't keep records of how many Africans come to America and then go back home. Yeah, right. They don't give visas so easily to Africans. Okay, I dealt with Africans and I sent Africans to the United States, so I'm very well the whole process of what it comes down to getting a visa in the United States. It's coming out of Kenya. The situation is that Kenyans are very active and want to travel all over the world. That's just in their nature. Not like South Africans. South Africans don't like to travel. You know what I mean? So they like, what for? They love where they are. So you go to South Africa, you tell them, oh, you can go to the United States. You know, they'd be like, what for? But you tell a Kenyan he can go, they'd be Kenyan. If you got your chance to go to the United States, they're gonna jump on that quick. You see what I'm saying? Because that's in their nature. The Kenyans are just like that. That's why the country is one of the most prosperous compared to their other African counterparts. They don't. Okay, I see. Yeah, you know, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm giving you the facts here on the ground, not based on speculation. I'm telling you what's up. You go to Tanzania and start talking about going to America. You go, how many Tanzania you see in America? You know what I'm saying? But who's number one in Africans going to America? Nigerians and Kenyans. You see? And in fact, in Russia, they had a college caught on fire. People started jumping out the windows, and all of them was from Kenya. They was like, damn, you see, even in Russia, they was there. This was like 10 years ago. So if you like this information that we're giving out, here is the paper of choice. We need you guys to support this channel, and this is how you do it. Are you seeing this for the first time? Yes. Just go to westernunion.com so quickly. Click mobile wallet, click the M-Pesa, put in the phone number, put in the contact name, put in the amount, $10 and $20 is best. Boom, we rolling. And you keep getting this content. So many people are looking at Dr. Moonbed and seeing all the expensive things, shows she has, all of that. That shit costs a lot of money. And she's gonna tell you thank you for Patreon. It's because somebody got her American bank account in America and that she can get through Patreon. But if I am not a Kenyan, I'm an American. So when I do it from here, I gotta go through a third-party app. They're gonna take out 9%, and then Patreon is gonna send all the money information to the IRS. So I'm here in Africa, I'm getting a 1099 form. Damn, I know what's coming. I have done the investigation. I see what's going on. So for us, this kind of thing is like under the table, actually. So when we say like this is the way to go, even when we try to do other like Wave and other kind guys, that it didn't work. People blocked it. So Western Union is the simplest and best bet. Plus, if you send now, I get the report right away while we're even on the line here. So this is something that works best for us. You send $20, they take it out on my end, the fees, not on your end. So for these people that are saying it for the first time, if you want to support this channel, I highly doubt that. I have investigated all of the PayPal and all that, and all of them have strings attached when you're coming out of Africa. So we're going to stay with this. This is how you support our channel. And I'm gonna keep on putting this paper out, and you guys can put in your $5, send your $5 and see how it works. You put in your money, we're gonna talk about you on the next show and the next show after that for your support. No, I don't expect much because I know now it's month end. You guys are there, but when it comes down first of the month, don't forget us. Huh? So for those that think that the United States got serious control over Africa, now you're getting ready to say, okay, well, America got secret bases all over Africa. That's nonsense. How can they be secret and you know, but the Africans don't know? That's just propaganda. And it's sad that a lot of our people are back in with this mindset like America just bomb any country anytime. It can't bomb any country anytime. It cannot bomb any country anytime. They already did these kind of things and got a long history of what the repercussions are over time. You see, like what's going on in Libya right now. All the things that the United States did is coming back to haunt them. And in 5 and 10 years from now, when that country is more stable enough that people are going to come out and they're going to talk about what really happened and what the United States was doing. How you just gonna bomb up Gaddafi's homeland? And Gaddafi was never even in government. See, I tell you this, you don't want to hear. You can't even fathom who was running Libya. Was it Gaddafi? No, Gaddafi was not president. He had not been in office since the 1970s. Oh, I mean, that can't be true. How can that be? He was running the country. Oh, he may not have been in charge like on the surface, but everything had to go through him. You don't know this. And he tried to explain this to you. The U.S. government hierarchy, the Bushes and those people had a personal vendetta against him. And this is why they spent millions and billions of taxpayers' money on bombs to bomb up his home country. His home, I mean, it's not his home country, but his home city. They tried to wipe it off the map. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you? Just because of him and the rules that they're trying to get so-called insurgents from the country. You don't do investigation. So this is what happens. They lie, you sit up and take it, and you're not really concerned because you got a job at a company that you can see that's connected to some sort of war effort. But now, as Malcolm X famously said, the chickens are coming home to roost. And Russia has now stepped in and said, I'm going to be a major player in Africa. Even now, whatever business that America was having an opportunity to do is now going to be overshadowed and push them even further outside of the African continent. And they can't survive without Africa. France is almost down. Britain, it totally, they're trying to think like we can screw over all of these countries in the world as part of the IMF and the World Bank and do all these things and go into Libya and bomb up their country and follow the United States and all of these horrible, despicable disputes all around the world, disputes. And now, because we were part of the EU, we could only bargain with countries based in the EU. But now Britain, they're suffering the same like France. They're saying, let's leave the EU, and then we can do business with countries independently of the EU. We can do business deals with African countries as UK, where we couldn't do that before when we were part of the EU. So you're gonna do business with African countries, UK. You dreaming. You damn sure not gonna. Dang, how? You got a history that is so tainted. Colonialism, big time. Oppression with African countries. They're not gonna do business with you or Belgium. So I don't even understand. They're gonna give you the polite notice, but you ain't gonna get no serious deal with them, and they know that you can't be trusted. European countries, Britain, United States. You lied with deals you did with the Indians, and you came and did the same lies with the Africans. Make deals like the Inga Dam deal. Just gonna back out the deal out of a sudden out of nowhere. Joking. And my people, black people there, they're just turning that shit off the news. You say, oh, that's about the Inga Dam? Let's not put that in the news. What we're gonna put? Let's talk about Jordan and his new. Let's talk about Tyler Perry's new studio. But let's not talk about those serious things like that. The Africans, those black people don't want to hear that stuff. But then when you start talking about the economy going down, why is it going down? Because the people in other countries are leaving the dollar very quickly. In ancient time, a country leaves the dollar as a currency that they use to do business. America loses billions. So this is what you have. So you got now some house Negroes have flipped over and turned out to be now, field Negroes. Let me go check out Africa now because this is too much. Yeah, it's okay. I was a house Negro at one time myself, but it was black consciousness that got me changed. It wasn't, economic oppression. I was very stable economically in the 80s and early 90s, but consciously seeing my eyes being open to what America, what kind of people the American government was to the own people inland, and then going outside into Africa and then listening to African presidents get on the local microphone and start almost crying about how the IMF and the World Bank is choking their countries. Surely, the time had to come when the jig was up. Countries like India, they know what the UK did to them. You think they're gonna give them business? No. France, oh, you know her time is up. They get it. Can just go Yellow Jacket move, Google Yellow Jacket movement and look at some of those videos. Those people are frustrated because they can't believe the lie that the government has been telling them all these many decades that France is a great superpower because we do great business all around the world. No, you only do business in Africa, and Africa is where you getting ready to get taken from you. So, you know, you just gonna have to follow Greece and follow Italy. Just that simple. Let me look at this now. Brenton Pierce, Civil War is coming to America. It is in the making. I would not wish that there be war like that because we would lose. I mean, for every one gun we have, whites got like 10 guns, and then we don't have the bullets. You know, black people got guns, they don't have enough bullets. You got like a case of bullets, and then they storm your house, you fucked. You know, you might shoot 5 of them, but the other 10 gonna really work you over. And if they savages, they ancestors, as their forefathers were, they gonna hang you up in your own backyard or hang you up in your own front yard and choke you to death in front of your children. So I wouldn't even wish that. I think that while you have a chance, if you see America as bad as it is, as more and more black people are telling me how bad it is, coming clean and saying the reality of the situation, the infrastructure in the country is in a terrible state, and local and state governments are not concerned or even able to pay for the repairs that are needed in the infrastructure of the United States. So we used to talk shit about the African infrastructure. The Chinese done fixed all of that. Every road in my area is now paved. Every main road in my area is now paved. And I never even thought that. I thought that was a tremendous task that would never be done. But it was paved, and it wasn't even paved. It was cobblestone, the ones that don't last for decades. You see, right up to my house, right across our businesses, all that used to be mud roads when it rained. Now is completely stone, it's cobblestone. So where we used to have vehicles go through that road, it would take them like 2 minutes to go up the road. Now we got concerns of the guys speeding in 10, 20 seconds to get into these destinations. So transport is big business. Motorcycles are, if you see my other videos, you see my motorcycles in the background, they're able to ride around because the roads are paved and get people moving to different destinations much quicker. Pow, this is Africa, man. They're not joking. This is what you're going to see on the ground here. So once again, I want to talk to you guys about this point. If you're not subscribed to the page, make sure you subscribe, like the video, and when you get a chance, do some donation. I know, what's the date? The 26th of October? Oh, you got like 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, you got like 5 days before that check comes in. And, when you're paying off all them bills, just drop a few coins our way. It'd be a lucky bet for you. You hate to come here and not see this information being put out there. Dr. Mooney, we have our sugar companies. So she's buying her sugar from China. I would imagine if she's buying her sugar from China. AK, Kenya has all the world marathon world champions. Yeah. Out of all the gold medal winners in the world, Olympic gold medal winners, what country has the most gold medals? America. Yes, true. America has the most gold medals. But what's the number 2 country with the most gold medals? That's right, Kenya. After America, Kenya has the most gold medals of any other country in the world. So yeah, and if you take away the black people gold medals in America, whew, they'd be nowhere. Uh, Democrats and Republicans are facing 2020 elections. It looks dangerous. Okay, I think a lot of us are being pulled into the looking at this election nonsense that comes out every 4 years, and it's kind of scaring some of us. This is the time when the politicians lay out the truth and facts about America, and then you come to realize from your living room that damn, I didn't know things was that bad. But they're probably worse than that because there are certain things that politicians do sit to the side and say, let's not talk about this issue in foreign matters. But when you really break it down, America got his ass kicked in Syria. They got forced out. They tried all their little trickeries, all their little propaganda things, and it didn't work. And so they had to leave Syria. So the American war machine doesn't like anything to do with backing out of wars. They want endless wars. Trump is saying we got to remove ourselves from these situations because they're very, very dangerous and they could affect his reelection situation. So he's taking the U.S. military out of Syria and taking them to Saudi Arabia. He's not bringing them home. No. He's keeping them deployed over there with probably in the war room. He's probably telling them we're going to use them for somewhere else in the near future. Or they're going to be, we're going to make up some sort of scenario where they got to be used. Like the bombing of the Saudi oil fields. Now all the American troops are going to go over there and do what? Stand in front of the oil fields so that no more drones can blow up them? It doesn't make any sense. This America can't survive without their number one industry is not cars. Their number one industry is military equipment. And a lot of us don't even know that. How many black people can name an African, a U.S. military company supplier? It's not that they're not put on the news. No. But they're big contracts, and these contracts are put in jeopardy when people start talking about pulling troops out and having peaceful situations take over. Let diplomacy come in. America can't afford that. They have to have war in Syria. They have to justify all of the trillions of dollars that Trump added to their to modernize the military. Can you imagine? And then the troops are talking about bring the troops home from all of these situations that they have in wherever country they can go to cause chaos. Brenton Pierce, Democrats and Republicans are fighting. Yeah, it looks very dangerous. It's true. Dr. Moonby is crazy. Yeah, surely. While we're looking at Dr. Moonby talk all that nonsense and then putting kind of fear or making us go hate the wrong people. I mean, come on. If you watch her show, how do you feel about Chinese? You see, if you're watching some show like that where they're talking about the Chinese can't be trusted, it is the Americans that can't be trusted. You see, the Chinese are going to take over an African country. It is the America that would try, if they could possibly do it, take over African countries and subvert them using the CIA. So everything that the propaganda that America puts out on other people is exactly what they're doing. You just flip it and you see that is what America is actually doing to countries, not the countries that are coming after them. Like I said, China 18 years, no problems. Russia coming into the picture, America is the only one that's going to have problems with that. Russian oil company now saying we're no longer selling our oil using the dollar. That got Iraq bombed. When they did that, that got Libya destroyed. You think they're gonna do that to the Russians? No, Russians got some power. You see what I'm saying? So, and that oil company is a state-owned oil company. I can't name the name of Rikidits or something like that. That's the name of the oil company. It's the largest one in Russia, and they're no longer doing business with the U.S. dollar. They dropped the dollar. So, what's going to happen next? You can imagine. So, yeah. Legion 1225. Tell me what that means. What's up? So I wanted to come on and say that, yeah, what's happening obviously is that Russia and China are going to be pushing America out of Africa, and their involvement in Africa is going to go out. And the arrogant, I want to say bastards, the arrogant bastards in America believe that they can really survive without doing business with Africa. They're going to come up and wake up and be totally sorry that they should have sent Obama here to beg to be a part of Africa rather than have Obama come here with a message saying let the gays run wild. Gwenda, there you are. You can monetize your channel with the ads from the videos on your YouTube. No, this is where we're gonna stay. Very simple and direct. We're not gonna go through all that problem. This is just a one-time thing you do, pop, 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 and we get there. And I have looked at all the other situations, and we're like Patreon. Patreon wants me to give all the details of everything that I'm going to do with the video, so that when they send that information to the IRS, they can know exactly what we're all about. And this is something that I don't want to do. So if you know how I do business, and if you've been privy to some of the businesses that I've done, mostly all of them are successful. This is the best way to go as far as supporting this channel. I appreciate you attempting to look into the situation for me, but I have already done that. And this channel, with the type of information that I'm giving, with a name like Amin Ra, leaving the United States, surely I'm not going to go right back there and do that. And then again, if you don't know how I do business, I've never owned a MasterCard or Visa. My business dealings are very unique, and I have a very strict idea of when it comes to dealing with money. So I called you when I was in Mombasa. I didn't get that call. So if you like if you like the content of the videos and you do want to support us, but you wanted the easy way out, I'm sorry, it won't be like that. We're going to just have one simple way that's continually to work for us until they stop it. Now we have had other ways of bringing money to this channel, and each and every way that was corrupted. So I'm not going to get involved with Patreon. I can't use PayPal unless I use Payron, which is a part of Payron, and they take 3 to 5 days to give you your money. So you send me a donation here, I'm waiting 5 days before I get it or I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's nothing I can do because they know where I'm at. They know I'm in Africa. So if they decide that, well, we're not gonna give you this money, hey, what can I do? And then all I can do is stop using the service, which people have done. There are so many services, you wouldn't believe it, that have come out. They take people's money, then they disappear, and then they come up with a different name. You see? So don't think that the government is not involved in all of this. It is. So this channel, this is how we do it. And I'm waiting to see anybody out there that believes in the seriousness of supporting a channel like this one, coming to you from the continent, giving you this information. Let me know. This is how you let me show your appreciation. So pause that video or put this website into your phone, and then get the app, and then you'll find out how easy this is to do the transaction. And then once you do the transaction, it's done. So, and then if we wanted to track it, see, Western Union has a beautiful tracking system. We can just track wherever the money is. You can do the tracking yourself, and we never had a problem with it. So that's what I'm saying. On the issue of where to send money. Now, I know there are some people out there that are going to say, I've been sending you money. Oh, I have this problem. Oh, why don't you do like this? You see, but they never send. You see, they're there. And I don't want anybody to be like that. Because you're looking at me directly from my face, and I'm giving you this information. The way to end and to defeat racism in America is by exiting America. The way to stop the economic oppression is take your work ability out of the country. Now, this is why America keeps putting out billions of dollars to try to make you think like wherever you want to go, that if you go there, you won't be better off than you are in America. We have this burned into our brain throughout the movies because we think it's all true. But now that house of cards is coming down. People are aware. People, 57% of the people polled said that the one of the biggest concern they have with the news agencies today is fake news. 57% people are concerned about getting fake news. They're being exposed. And propaganda is the black man's greatest enemy. Western mass media propaganda is the black man's greatest enemy. You must see this. I'm sitting here in Africa now and I'm explaining this to you, and I'm trying to tell you like this is the case. But some of you still want to sit back and wait. Okay, fine. It's okay. But how many of us knew how successful, or even that it took place, the Russian African summit? And remember, a year ago, the Russians canceled the debt of a lot of the business that they had in Africa. Just canceled their debts that the Africans had with them, because they know that this new Africa is going to be far better at an advantage than the old, poor, tied and restrained Africa that was beholden to the IMF and the World Bank. And don't think that the U.S. relieves these debts. That's a lie. They don't relieve these debts. They don't go or cancel the debt on countries. That's just a lie. They keep those debts and they use them to the best of their ability to try to collect them. When do you ever see like the people in America, they tell you, oh, we're going to cancel your debt? That's not even in their makeup. They use debt as a weapon that they're going to say that the Chinese are doing it. So let us not be fooled. And I'm here to tell you, Ruby Williams, there's another one of my girls. African American needs to start creating economic ties to Africa. We need to start investing in the African stock markets. Okay, the African stock markets are not like American stock markets. We see all this hype about the American stock markets, and we think that Africans are going to follow suit like that. No. A lot of the business that's done in Africa are small scale businesses at this time. So they're not in the market. What you need to do is come to Africa and start a small business, and if it trends, then you can expand it depending on how much money you want to put out and invest. A lot of the companies that are on the African stock markets are foreign based, you see, and they have a lot of a foreign control on them. So you're really getting the same thing. If America's stock market crashes, then it's going to be affected, because a lot of the companies that are in America, that are in African, are based out of the UK or or the EU. So I hear what you're saying about the African stock, but when you say African, don't mean that the business that's being done, business in the African stock market, are African. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them are international conglomerates. Britain Pierce, Federal Reserve had to be pumping money into the American economy on a regular basis. The American economy is in trouble. Okay, yeah, I heard the same thing. That they have to, pump money into the economy to try. I mean, to the small loan bank part of it. I've been trying to follow up on that, and this is some of the signs that the economy is weakening, and we're hearing that. And if you hear this on politicians start talking about it, it makes it even more scary for you. But whether the economy in America survives or doesn't, Black people need to have an African plan. And if you get a chance to sell your home, or if you're already retired, you need to take that retirement money, move to Africa, take the extra funds that you have and store them, and live a lot better life. Start saving your money in Africa, start putting together small businesses, and making good friends amongst the Africans that you're here. Now in Kenya, this is really easy to do, and a lot of people retire in this country. The weather is wonderful. If you're making $400 or $500 a month from Social Security, then you can live like a king off that $450 a month. Also, we're having a trip coming in April 2020. A lot of Black Americans, martial artists, including my instructor, are planning on coming. And we're developing a trip like that. I'll be talking more about that in the future. We've been investigating, and we find that the average round trip ticket to Nairobi from the United States is around $700. So, and we've seen some, I did a show on this, as low as $500 round trip. So the time to come to Africa is now. And if you're going to make that trip, it's better to do it before the Great Depression hits, as opposed to waiting to after the Depression hits, when every escape route is going to be either clogged or canceled. And you don't want that. You don't want to get a letter in the mail saying your loan was canceled and you have to pay back now all your money, and you don't have that money. So definitely make those arrangements. And if you are I know a lot of Black people are feeling the pinch. You're a house Negro. You really don't want to leave the United States. You just feel kind of like, I don't feel that African drive to go there, but I want to stay here. Consolidate your bills, and then look at what you're going to pay for your children's education. And if you have teenagers, think about having them being educated in Africa. Best you can stay, but then don't do the same thing to your children. Give them an opportunity to be more worldly, to give them an opportunity to grow up in an area, in a place where there's no racism. And, you might even find that the education is cheaper, and you know that the education is going to be better than what they give you in the West. That's for damn sure. Nothing better to have a son speaking Swahili and having Swahili friends in Kenya, and you're seeing them happy and asking them, do they want to come back to America? And they're telling you, no, I don't see that as a possibility anymore. So it shows much knowledge about Africa. Okay, I got to show that one, huh? Wow. Nothing but propaganda. Boomba. Yeah, well, Kevin Tucker, how are you, man? Direct flights from UK to Nairobi. Yeah, those are expensive, Kenya Airways, but they're very nice. 15 hours and you're there. But I'm talking about cheaper flights that do layover in Istanbul and Amsterdam. These layover flights are a lot cheaper by far. And this is what we can get for those people that have money. Now, you see me, a lot of what Black people, you see, okay, earlier I was saying that, I got a different kind of understanding about money. And one of the things about me is that if I want to take a flight on Kenya Airways for $1,500, I don't look for a lower price flight like that. I'll look at ways that I can make the money. You see? So it's just a matter of the way we think. A lot of us think, okay, this thing costs too much, so I'm gonna cut down on my resources. I'm gonna cut the lights off early. I'm gonna do, this kind of thing, instead of saying, how can I generate more money to cover these things? Now, in a booming economy, this is what works. You know what I'm saying? I don't think of things like, I don't have enough money to do this, I got to cut back. No, I say, where can I find more money? And then the opportunities always present themselves when you're in an economy that is growing and expanding. So this is the kind of things that you really can't do in the United States when you're in a failed economy, when there's no more Black community, when there's no more way you can do Black businesses in America without having to depend on other races to frequent your business, which dramatically affects what you sell. Like, you might have a business, open up a liquor store, and you got a Black-owned liquor store. But if you're not selling tortillas and tacos, this kind of thing, I'm not trying to be silly or talk bad about Mexicans, but I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying, if the makeup of the community is like 50% Mexican, then you got to cater to them to get their business. You see? So yeah, and I don't hate Mexicans, by the way. I don't hate white people, by the way. So I have, don't use that one like, I was talking bad about the Mexicans and things like that. Oh, they're overrunning. The Mexicans are overrunning in a lot of areas. Okay, that's a good thing for them, but I'm Black. And when I see my black people leaving their community and another group comes in, whether it be Mexicans or Spanish or Arabs, I feel sad because a lot of my history and a lot of the people that I know in those areas have had to have tragedies to come for them to have to move out and to change the makeup of that area. That's what I'm saying. I fly direct to Kenya all the time. Get your money up. Yeah, exactly. You got to get your money up. But a lot of times, black people in an oppressive society where we're the last hired, first fired. This is sad. It's hard to do that. You got to start thinking about cutting back because in order, you got two choices. Either you can personally cut back on your expenses to try to save money, or you can go out and fight the system looking for that extra income somewhere. You know, somebody tell you, okay, well, I want you to go sell these flowers door to door. And so you go to the house and you ring on the doorbell, you know, you sell the flowers to the first black customer there. Wow, you know, he takes them. Boom, you go to the next door, bing dong, and then it opens up, it's a white guy. And you know, the first thing you're thinking is like, please, sir, I'm not here to rob you. Okay, I'm a good Negro and I got some flour. And you know, we don't understand that other races are programmed to buy from their own. So the moment you start talking about selling flowers to the white guy and he's white, he's thinking, where can I get these same flowers from a white person? If it's Arab, if it's a Jew, Jews have a rule. Jews say whatever a Jew wants, another Jew has and will sell it to them. That is a law of the Jews. Whatever a Jew wants, another Jew has it and will sell it to you. This is the rule they go by. You don't go buy it. If I had a shop, a liquor store, and also a Jew man walked in there talking about looking for something to buy, I'd have a heart attack. I wouldn't even take his money. That'd be amazing. You know? So trust me. Yeah. Go where there's economic prosperity. Save yourself a lot of heartaches. You'd be like, I have to stay in America because I feel comfortable here. But you on food stamps. But you're getting assistance. You know what I'm saying? You know, your car's broken. You know, your bills is like 50% of your 60, 70% of your expenses is debt. You're in deep debt. And then you're watching TV and they got commercials coming on to put you more in debt. So you're joking. That is the only supported. That is only Kevin Tucker's. That is the only supported the military industrial complex. Yeah, them guys. My apologies, Grandmaster. The SGR is officially called a high-speed railway. Peace, blessings, my brother. Oh, the car was. Oh, that's nice of you, brother. You see, you checked because you watched this video and see. You see how I'm helping you out? See how people don't know and they get tied up with the propaganda news? I'm coming here to clear all those things up. Where are you getting that if you're not getting it from here? From this channel. We can do great things with this channel. Okay? But you know, we need your support. And you know, I want to upload videos, but how am I justify those costs if I'm sitting here and you guys don't support the channel? I don't know why you guys are saying that SGR is not high-speed railway. Because the white man told you that that's not the definition of a high-speed railway? Because the Chinese got a bullet train that can go 5 times faster, so that makes the SGR like less of a speed train. The train is a high-speed train compared to what we had. They're going to put electrical wires in and make it even faster. It is a high-speed railway in Africa. It's designed that way. I have seen the tracks. This is what the whole purpose of the tracks is designed to put a train on there that cuts the time from travel from Mombasa to Kenya, from Mombasa to Nairobi from 12 hours to 4 hours. Now, in all simple kind of classic kind of mind things, you see that is a high speed compared to what we had. But no, the white man tells you the definition of high speed is 400 miles an hour, and you say that's then that's a high speed for you. You got to get out. We got to get out of that. You see, and that's why I'm here to tell you. So, yeah, support this channel. We can argue the fact. I got other videos. I don't know if it's gonna show. Yeah, you see, here's a video of I want to put out talking about Kenya from a teenager's perspective. And these are kind of things that I deleted that from the phone. I have another video that's going to come out after this one. But you see, these things take they take money support in order for them to happen. So I have told you many times. So let's get that out. I know it's the end of the month, but you do the necessary, and when the time is right for you. But make sure you support the channel, or tell me I want to support the channel, but right now it's end month. I understand. That's just enough too. Took 6 hours to get to Mombasa. Well, that's only 5 hours. There's no train that took 6 hours. I have been monitoring it. They say 4 hours, but it comes sometimes 5 hours. So the average time is 5 hours, not 6 hours. So don't be like making it exaggerated more than it already is. The fact of the matter is 5 hours is a lot faster than 12 hours. And that's by bus. Now, if you take the train took over 24 hours. The original train that was there before the SGR took 24 hours to go from Nairobi, or from Mombasa to Nairobi. How do I know? Because we have martial art tournaments here, and people came here from Nairobi, so they wanted to take the cheapest route. And at that time, it was the train. I think it was 250 shillings a trip. So they get on the train, they pay 250, and they think they saved 200-300 shillings. But the train takes 24 hours, and they almost died on that goddamn train, sitting on the train for that many hours, chugging away. So the SGR, you're there in 5 hours, you're there. So anybody get on the train and the train starts pulling off from the station, and you see it shoot, the train starts speeding up, that's high speed. Quit using the first world definition of what high speed is. These are people that are just trying to put your railway accomplishments in Africa down. You're black, you got 2 high-speed railway in Kenya and Nigeria. You should be praising it. You shouldn't be saying that's not technically. What's that? Technically for who? You get what I'm saying? Technically for who? Huh? So the white man tell you we put the train, and the train runs at 300 miles an hour, and then they're gonna tell you the definition of high speed is 400 miles. Don't listen to propaganda. Don't listen to these negative people that come up and tell you this thing. The trip to Nairobi took 12 hours. They put a train that takes 4 to 5 hours. That is high speed by anybody's logical definition. Okay, maybe a news channel for Africa. Okay, you got the diaspora news channel in Africa. Here I am with Phil from the Diaspora Show. He did a show with me. This is at the Voyager Hotel on the beach, and he expressed his delight with Kenya. And who knows, he may decide to come and stay. Also did a short video with him. But if we don't have people to support the channel, then how can we do all these other things that we want to do? You understand what I'm saying to you? So let's make it's up to you guys. Ethiopia is future great things going on there. Larry J. Bride, yeah, they were the first one to have a new railway system put in, but it wasn't high speed. But Kenya's is a lot faster. It's not a rail. There was a rail. But there's a difference between like a shuttle, like the thing is a difference. But anyway, if you want to start talking about it's not a high-speed railway, go check out Florida. In Florida, they had a train there, and they started talking about it was a high-speed train, and it was just a train that was on rails. It was not even high speed, but they lied and said it was Florida gets a high-speed railway. There's no high-speed railway in America, so they start putting Africa's down. So that's not high speed. That's just jokes. I smoke freely, never got in trouble. Okay, I think that's talking about find your marijuana. Yeah. What is the rule against marijuana in Kenya? A ticket? No, death. You go to jail for a long time. So get that thing out your mind if you can. We already talked about that. Moses, it's definitely illegal. Yes, just like guns. There are some things that a government has to put in place to not harm its people. But the United States has got profit way far ahead of common sense and the health of the people. We can see that by the fast food, the health problems. The United States got the biggest obese problem in the world. These guys, the American government is not interested in that, you know, in saving the people, and they don't have no clue. How you gonna let your people get all that obese like that? Surely. So anyway, yeah. So pay a bribe or something. Yeah, books for Moses. Yeah, pay a bribe. Keep on smoking. I mean, and there are people that smoke weed here. So in Kenya, that's no doubt. I've seen it. I've been held it. So there is it is done here. But as far as being legal, no, it's not going to be legal. So yeah, if you got you got in your house, no, you got a far less chance of the police patrolling the streets in Nairobi than you do in America. So, and then you don't have to worry about white neighbors calling you in and telling you, "Hey, my neighbor, they're smelling marijuana," as if they don't smoke it themselves, and then send the police to your house and break in your door. So local businesses in Mombasa and Nairobi can support your channel in exchange for publicity. Okay, I like the way people try to come up with all these ideas from the armchair of what they're supposed to do. So you listen for free, and then I go out and get publicity and sell advertisement. It ain't that serious, my brother. It's not that serious. If you want the content, and then you simply just need to, and I know you're feeling like you need to say something about that because you see this is good content, and this thing is you feel guilty that you're using it, and then you refuse to pay for it. It's okay, and I keep telling you it's okay. I understand that that's something that's in us, but really that's something for our people to deal with. Coming out of the United States with all the economic suffering, we all have these kind of ways that we use to not support things that's black owned. And because besides these animals in the background, you really can't see that I'm in Kenya. So how you just feel like this is another black person asking me for money, and that means no. I'm the same way. I was the same way, and when I was there, it was like, no. I've been tricked by one time. So my policy is anything black, I'm not going to. I had to step back. But ask somebody. I'm really here in Kenya, and I'm really giving you this information, and I'm trying to tell you that this is you should get an African plan. Okay, so this information is not valuable to the community in Kenya. What they go? I'm telling African Americans that the truth about Kenya. How does that help them? You see what I'm saying? The majority of the audience here is like, when I do my analytics, it's like 90% from the U.S. So I'm gonna go ask African, you see? But it's the mindset that you have to make you actually think about that, to actually start typing on the keyboard. I mean, you should go get money from somebody else. No, I'm saying it's us, you guys. When you guys don't see these opportunities, I understand. Because if you had big money, you'd be no problem. I mean, here you go. You see, I know how we are. But you see, the fact that you have that things are tight, and it's the end of the month, you just feel like I had to say something. I'm gonna get Patreon. No, we're gonna stick like this. Well, I'm just not going to be able to. I'm never going to pay for that. Okay, see, that's just the mindset, you know. But you'll be here listening to the news, and then you'll be getting all this information, and then you'll be saying, I'm never going to pay. It's okay, fine. It dies yet sleek, but the country is extremely peaceful, not like here. Kevin Tucker has been to Kenya. He's also been a contributor this way to Western Union. Shout out to Kevin. Thank you for your support and continued support. You know what I mean? Not just a one-time person that does the support of the channel. It's people like Kevin that allows me to keep coming on here and doing this information. And then he can get on here also and tell you that, you know, from the real point of view. He came, he went back, he said he's coming back. So that's why I'm saying I'm just trying to get Mr. Private Brain to come here and buy some new shirts. And that's my dream. That he come here and we get some, you know, African colors in them shirts. Black people feel that if you're black, you don't deserve to get paid. It's a shameful. Yeah, I understand that because I do business with kids, and you know, conservativeness is there, but you know, black people is a different thing because I can see the difference between saying, okay, I'm going to ask these guys for money. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm almost going to threaten them. No, I'm not going to threaten you. I'm going to put that paper down and I'm going to say these magical words. I understand. But you see, there are a few black people that are out there that get it, and then they do send support when they have an opportunity. And that's why I'm saying the channel can continue if we have those type of people come in and support the channel with a few dollars. I'm not even asking for a lot of money. You got some people, they got a thing in the US now where you're supposed to pay monthly for the content that the person puts out on a regular basis. And these content guys are just putting out anything, you know. And you know, I don't have to do that. I don't have to go searching and begging, looking for false information, telling you that the African ambassador to the United States was fired. Like she was fired. She wasn't fired. Because she said that the French was problem with the French in the video in March. That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. See, so I don't have to go and add that kind of nonsense on my channel. I can come here and sit down and tell you what really matters. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming, and they're here. So you black people talking about, you know, I don't know if I can find a job in Africa. Shit. You're going to be having to fight not to get that job. The Russians are coming here. If you just go take you some Russian classes in America, and all you do is come to Africa, find a Russian business, walk in, I forgot how to speak Russian. I used to know all the words for Russian. I mean, the greetings for foreign countries. Well, you just start speaking Russian, and then shoot, they're going to hire you. And probably pay you in rubles that get more expensive than the Kenyan money. Yes, Mr. Private Bank, you're coming to Kenya, great. And when you come, you're gonna come visit me, great. I'll be there, and we'll definitely be talking. Okay, legend 1, 2, 12, 24. Let me see what you, Mr. They got any drugs you looking to for? Okay. Well, if I had to be a person to get high, I'd rather get high in a country where I'm a majority people as opposed to being a minority. So it's nothing like getting high in the wintertime. Now I just made that up. I don't know, but you know how winters can be cold. I don't know how smoking. What would smoking be like in the wintertime? Would it make you warm? Getting high? I don't know. You know, I'm an athlete, so I wouldn't know. You know, I spent all my life staying in shape, and so those things were not in my daily routine. Oh, Moden, how are you? Morelli, how are you? Morelli, how are you? Moden, it shouldn't be a matter of how it's set up. Either you're gonna support or not. Tell them. More is another person that has supported the channel, and it's been thoroughly appreciated. If it wasn't, let me tell you like this. Okay, I can tell you, Deron Tate, Kevin Tucker, this Morelli Molden guy. These are the people that are making me able to be talking to you today. That's a fact. Let me just at the last. I know not many people are gonna be on the video at this moment, but that's a fact. You see, it's the support from them that has kept us going. Let's say they didn't support, and I think there were one or two other people that put in support like that. Two other people that put in support like that. It was just them. It was like, why am I using my airtime, my bundles, to try to talk to Negroes, and then it's too late. You see, their mindset can never change, and then you see they'll be down there swimming in the ocean when the Titanic died, and then they be like, "I'm gonna throw me a life raft." I'm sorry. You see, you should have jumped in the lifeboat when it was available. So, yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today, and I hope you like the show. And we're gonna continue this to the next time. And I look forward to having you guys come and visit me on the live chat. I was talking with other content providers, and they were like, "I never do live shows. I refuse to do live shows. You know, our live shows are dangerous." And I'm like, if you've got the right content, and if you're speaking the truth, and you're an honest person, then why would it be dangerous? You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm about to go home and eat dinner. I don't get high, but I was curious. I stay high. Well, how are you even able to spell so nicely on the chat line if you just get high all the time? But anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for coming. Don't forget to support the channel, like and subscribe. I always forget to say that. Like and subscribe to the video. And I want to say that the number of views are going up. I mean, before I was excited to have a video that had 100 views, and now I got like 3-4 videos with 300 views. Nothing like my predecessors, but for me, that's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited when I see 300 views on the video. So I appreciate you guys. Also, that kind of helps me continue to do this. And I've got another video coming out. I'm going to upload, and we're going to be working on our video editing skills. So that video is going to come out. Tell me what you think. And Mr. Private Benz, I will be wearing the same shirt in that video, so you can talk about me. And we're gonna keep this thing going. So now we know that Russia is in Africa to stay, and that means less opportunities for America to do business in Africa. Africa is being China and Russia are now together pushing the United States out of Africa. That is the conclusion of the show. Until the next time we meet, peace.